Good morning, Poetics. What's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, Evolution. How are you doing today?
Oh, man, it's early morning. We early birds. We about to get it going, man. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All
Just
right, let's
waiting
go.
on you.
Let's do it. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is Evolution. And right beside me, I got my sidekick, Mr.
Poetics.
Poetics, man. How's it going this morning, man? You good?
Yes, sir. I'm feeling pretty good and ready to definitely get going.
Well, let's get going there, man. Let's get going. Let's jump right off into it, man. Today's topic, bro, I think we got a good one today. We always come up with something good, man, but today, I think we got a good one, bro. So, this is our topic. We are worth more than money, but our thoughts, our actions, and what we say has no value. It's time to balance the scale. What you got, bro?
I love it. And I think it's probably long overdue for this kind of conversation. So
Mm, mm, mm.
yeah, for sure.
Hey man, definitely, man, definitely, man, and I think over the years people have lost sight of their own value, and they come to for some weird reason they're quick to devalue themselves before they even give themselves credit or any type of value, especially when it comes to money, bro. We have sunk to so many sinkholes. I'll just say it like that when it comes to how we value ourselves when it's compared to money, man. But we have to realize and recognize who we are, man. And remember our true value, man. We have to understand that we were here before money was ever created.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially paper money.
Yeah, man. And to see how people react and do things versus, I guess, the value that people have placed on money now versus themselves, man. I mean, I've seen so much ridiculous crap happen for the smallest amount of money or change, and the devalue behind the human being, man, because of how things have become. It's just incredibly, I want to say, stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, so what we must do to add value to our thoughts, our actions, and our speech patterns, man. Do you got anything before we get to rolling off into this?
I think I'm ready, man. I'm
All
just
right,
ready.
man. So the first thing we're gonna do, we got some people tuning in here. Good morning to you. Thanks for the support. Uh, we gotta remove the prefix slash word dis from everything, man. And some examples I got here is discredit, disrespect, disloyal, etc. So basically, what I'm saying here for the listeners and for you, my man, Poetics, uh, is if we just say credit, respect, and loyal, it adds such a big twist to those words, man. What you got?
Yeah, man. When with that word "this," man, I love it because that word "this" has been used in so many, like you said, prefixed scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, discredit, disloyalty, even dishonor,
Mm.
disconnection,
Boy,
dysfunctional.
boy.
So it's even in hip hop lingo where I'm dissing this artist or I'm dissing that artist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like we can kind of be more unified as
Yeah,
opposed to always being disconnected and trying to be separated. We'll go a lot
boy,
further for sure.
man, you really said a lot in such a few uh, few words, man. I'm a I'm gonna go here, bro. Just taking the word dis off credit. when you're talking about somebody or referring to something, um, it's like night and day. You know what I mean? Um, so I'm gonna use this as an example. In an example, you discredit this organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or even stronger, when I take the word "dis" off, when you're talking to, I don't know, maybe a significant other, you're like, you know what? You are a huge credit to my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What
Right.
you got, bro? What you got, bro?
I love that, man. Like you said, I love how we're going, back and forth between the two dynamics because,
Yeah.
yeah, man, yeah, it's so easy to, discredit something. I think it takes more effort to do that to me. So I think
Man.
if we would actually just focus on, hey, crediting someone for, like you said, adding value to your life, you know,
Yeah.
I, crediting a spouse for, what they may do for you,
Hmm.
crediting an occupation for the fact that, you are able to make an honest living. Uh,
Absolutely.
the,
Absolutely.
the little small details can, have, large effects for sure.
Sure, man. Sure. And we might as well keep it rolling, bro.
Absolutely.
So I got somebody else chiming in on us today. Good morning. Welcome to What's Going On with Evolution and Poetics. Glad you're
Thank you.
here.
Thank you
Thank you for
guys for
supporting
tuning
us.
in.
Absolutely, man. So today we're talking about we are worth more than money, but our thoughts and our actions and what we say have no value. So we're trying to, balance the scale today and how people look at things in themselves or whatever. So we're talking about the word "dis" or the prefix "dis" and how it kind of really throws things in a wrong direction for us. And we're analyzing if we take that off, how huge it is in the response. So we're going to go with the word disrespect right now. So I'm gonna go here, bro. I've heard parents a lot more than anything else call their kids disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You're
Hmm.
being disrespectful. Uh, what you said to me was disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like planting a seed of disrespect when you talk like that, right?
Hmm.
So the kids might even just think, you know what? No matter what I do,
It's gonna be
my,
called disrespect.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So why even try? That's the mentality of a adolescent or youth or teenager, whatever, somebody younger than you. You know what I'm saying? So let's just see
Absolutely.
what happens when we take that "dis" off of that word. I mean, think about it. How many times, parents, if you're listening, how many times have you ever told your child, you know what you just did, what you just said was very respectful. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. What you got, bro?
I love that, man, because I I remember when my brother was around, God, rest his soul. But
Mm-hmm.
he was always a big disciplinarian with his children.
Yeah.
So it was always funny how they'll, be around maybe an older individual,
Uh-huh.
and my brother would always get compliments on how respectful his children were because they would say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, man, I kind of miss those days.
For real, man.
So, just to, when a child, like you said, can actually hear that compliment of, you were actually very respectful, and I'm proud of how you handled yourself and how you
Mm-hmm.
addressed this person.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, I think, keeps them motivated, and it gives them structure. So
Structure, man. That's a great word. Structure. Looks like Yannick tuned in. Good morning, Yannick. Thanks for joining us.
good morning, good morning.
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna keep it going with my third example, and I know you had a couple, and I
Hmm.
would like to go into a couple of those as well, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So my third one was disloyal. Um, I gotta go here, man, because there's a lot of relationship issues out there,
Uh-huh.
and I ain't gonna highlight those today. I'm gonna highlight what we're talking about. but everybody can feel the energy that I'm bringing right now. I know that I can feel it.
Hey, we
So
got to.
yeah, man. So let's see, how should I put this? Um, so let's just say a dude is talking to his significant other. You know what you did just now in front of everybody was very disloyal. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
so feel that, and I'm gonna take the word "dis" off of that, and I'm gonna use that same example, dog. Let's say we're in a restaurant having dinner, um, and the vibe is good, the candlelight. You know what I'm saying? It's the mood is like, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
So you're like, I really, really appreciate your loyalty to me. What you got, bro? What you got?
I mean, I love what we're doing with this topic, man, because it's really just the wording itself. It hits different, you
Yeah,
know,
on a
when you
large
come in.
scale.
Yeah, when you come in with a disrespect, your energy is kind of probably a little bit negative when you're addressing that
A lot of it.
disloyalty.
A lot of it.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
when you kind of when things like you said are really solid and
Hmm.
everything's really good and everything's
Hmm.
vibing well,
Hmm.
you kind of have this thought process of, man, you're kind of in a mellow mood. You kind of things are easy. It
Yeah,
just it hits different, man. There's nothing like peace of mind.
man, you just said it, man. There's nothing like peace of mind. And think of how that affects the person you with. You know
They
what I'm
feel it.
saying?
They feel that appreciation.
Man, when you telling them they disloyal in a I don't know, a family function, group function, you kicking it with your friends, whatever. Man, that's like a heavy blow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you dropping a mountain on them, man, emotionally. And think about the response that they're feeling on the inside. You know what I'm saying? When they hear
Right.
that from somebody that they really care about, right? And then on the flip side, when we was, the example of the restaurant, they're already feeling appreciated, right? They're feeling good. They're about to eat good. The everything is just set in a great environment. And then you hit them with that line, boom, I appreciate your loyalty to me.
It.
Man, look,
You know what, man?
it's gonna be a good night after that one, bro.
Right. Yeah, man. You hit the nail on the head, man. It's kind of like I know there's something that recently came out probably a few years ago,
Uh-huh.
the love language dynamic. So I mean
Yeah.
that would kind of fit under words of affirmation. So
Boom, boom,
so
boom.
that's perfect, man. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, man. So you want to hit a couple of your examples that you brought?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess I'll touch on dysfunction.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Now we all know that there are a lot of dysfunctional people and
Yeah.
families and groups and
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Yep.
But when you can sit back and say, hey, I love the functionality of the dynamics of this system.
Boy.
Maybe it's a work environment and you're just loving the how it functions so smoothly, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not disjointed. It's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's in total conjunction with everything that the company's trying to do, what all the individuals are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a beautiful thing, when you.
It is a beautiful thing, man. And it adds so much value to the environment as a company, as a worker for that company. Um, and it takes away all the pressure, man. It's a fun thing you want to do. You look forward to doing it, and it adds value beyond money. I want to
Exactly.
point that out today. That's what we point out today. It adds value beyond money. What can I get from my place of employment outside of the money? You know what I'm saying? What kind of benefits do I get outside of the monetary aspects of it? You know what I'm saying? So I hope I'm getting people's attention this morning. You know what I'm saying? I
Dude,
hope it
that's
wakes people up.
that's an excellent point, man. I just want to add to that, just
Hmm.
kind of piggybacking off of you, man, that you know the when you have a solid culture
Hmm.
in your work environment,
Hmm.
it's really different. People, instead of dreading, God, I hate my job,
Hmm.
you're like, man, you know what? I'm actually looking forward to going into work today. I can't believe I'm
Yeah.
saying that, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. For real, man. For real.
It is different. I'm like, you know, it's people, not most people, but there
Mhm.
are people, you know, who don't mind, you know, getting up and actually going into work. And then, you know, I've always heard a wise saying that, you know, in anytime you're actually enjoying or looking forward to what you do
Mhm.
when it comes to your occupation, you
Mhm.
haven't worked a day at all.
Boom, man! You just brought out a bullseye early on a early bullseye. You rolling, man. So I want to touch this, man, because I think this is very relevant. I'm glad you brought that point to spark this thought in my head.
Sure.
Uh, some people go to work even though they hate their job and it's miserable because it's actually a better environment than what they're dealing with outside of work.
Wow, that's an excellent point, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of dis in their life. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that they're going through and dealing with that are dysfunctional. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So really don't know what to say about that today. I'm sure that's going to be a great episode for later. But all I can say here is what we're trying to do now is get you to open your eyes to see how you can remove that dis out of your function. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? So you got one more for me, man? You got one more?
Yes, sir. I would say even a dishonor.
That's what I was
Yeah.
waiting on. That's what I was
Uh,
waiting on. What you got, man?
you know me, man. I love popular culture,
Mhm,
movies,
mhm.
music, and so forth. So I got to go here.
Okay.
Uh, One of my favorite movies, Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Man, that's a great movie. Great movie.
Uh, yeah, man. There are so many. I think I'm gonna throw us for a slight loop here,
Okay.
but there's a dynamic where you know we as you know men of color are often not necessarily portrayed in the positive light.
Right, right.
So I think when you see you know Cuba Gooding Jr. in that role,
Mhm.
it you know it kind of allows you to see, yeah, there is so much more to the world than what we ever thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And the things that he was able to achieve, even basically handicap and missing a leg,
Mhm.
uh, you know, it's just a huge testament. Like, you know, anything is truly possible.
For sure, man. And really, to touch on that, had it would it have been the same story if he had both his legs?
Right.
You know
You
what I'm
know,
saying?
and only to a small dynamic, only because he was like, you know, the first person of color to achieve
Mhm.
the rankings he had. But
Mhm.
with like you said, without a leg,
Right,
are you
right,
kidding
right.
me?
So
So
so so
yeah,
sometimes even if we have a drawback, it our mindset it pushes us even further into our dedication levels and our energy levels and our focus, man. Focus is gonna come up later. But yeah, man, I think that little aspect of what his situation was, being handicapped, made him be like, thinking the mindset of, I'm just as good as everybody else, if not better. You know, I
right.
I really don't need this leg to prove who I really
Who
am.
I am,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So when you look at things in the aspect of money, you know, let's be truthful about it. There's billionaires out there, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And
Uh-huh.
because they're billionaires, some of them, a lot of them, a few of them are walking around like they're better than everybody else because they got billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just gave me a thought, man. I don't want to cut you off, but you just
Go,
kind of,
go. I'm good. Go.
bro, you know, it's funny because when you look at how our world operates, right? And you
Hmm.
look at this wealthy person and their finance, you know, they always say, what is this person's net worth, right?
Right, right.
And it's kind of like that's the only value that you're actually putting on this person is
Hmm.
their, I guess, accomplishments in one field or another.
Hmm.
But it's kind of like, what is their actual worth? You know,
Man,
your
look,
actual worth is going to, you know, far surpass what your net worth is.
boom. Man, you throwing bullseyes today. You just throwing bullseye. Wow. I love it, man. I love it. I can't even go behind that. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Well, you actually sent me, with the alley oop. I had the easy part to just finish it.
Absolutely, man. And I'm trying to come up with an example for dishonor and honor. Let's go with the parents, man. I did something with the kids earlier. Let's go with the parents. So when my parents were here, I did not want to dishonor my parents. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to honor my parents,
Absolutely.
regardless of what was going on, because we all can get pissed off at our parents. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For many different reasons and many different times of the day. Let's just be truthful about it. Sometimes parents, they can be challenging. You know what I'm saying? But it's because we're growing and we're learning new things every day, and our parents have already been there. And when we're coming up, we never see that. You know what I'm saying? We never think about that. We're just thinking about us. You know what I'm saying? What you got, bro?
Right. Actually, man, you kind of set me up with another alley oop. So, I just kind of, it's really short, but I think it'll be effective.
Okay.
I'm actually reminded of the scripture passage. I like to delve into the Bible here and there.
Mhm.
Honor thy father and thy mother. And of course, what's the reward behind honoring your mother and your father?
Boy,
Your
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 days
days
will be
will be
long.
long on the earth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Check it out of my mouth. So yeah,
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. Is really truthfulness about it. Um, so, man, let's keep going, bro.
yes,
We got
sir.
some more people tuning in. Good morning. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate your
Thank
support.
thank you, everybody.
And so let's move on to the next aspect, man. I think we dug deep on that one.
Yeah, we did.
Um, so as far as we are worth more than money, but our thoughts, our actions, and what we say has no value. And what me and Poetics are doing today, we're trying to balance the scale on that. You know what I'm saying? So our next item here is listen to respond positively and stop listening to respond negatively. Man, what you got? I know you got something
Absolutely.
for that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think a lot of times, especially in the midst of someone who's just in debate mode, uh,
Man.
a lot of times they're only listening so that they can kind of respond with more fuel to a fire that they don't
Mhm.
even want, quenched. Uh, so so it's like instead of listening to try to rebuttal in a way that's going to be more combative,
Mhm. Mhm.
you can actually be, just kind of listen and say, how can we actually come to an agreement, even if we disagree? That's
Right.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
we we, we can even disagree, I guess, in love or fellowship. It doesn't have to be angry and negative energy. It can be,
Mm.
I disagree with that point, but maybe you're actually able to see where this other person or other party is coming from.
Absolutely, man. And you got hit another one, disagree. Um,
Right.
so in that same example, when you're having a conversation with someone and you can't even finish your thought because they're just attacking, they just cutting you off, and they just stressing their issue or their point, and they're not even hearing you, man, because they're so focused on stressing their point
Right.
that they have heard nothing that
Nothing.
you started to say, and more importantly, they don't know what you're trying to say
Right.
because they're not in receiving mode. You know what I'm saying? They're just
Right.
in giving mode, in attacking mode. What you got, bro?
Wow. Yeah, man. It's I guess this is an easy one to use when we look at the dynamics of a relationship, and I guess it could be any relationship. Like you
Hmm.
said, we talked about parents and children. It could be, a significant other, a spouse, a
It could be
friendship.
a
Yeah,
coworker.
coworker. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. You have to understand that none of us are islands. So there are going to be other people. Just because someone else exists, they're going to
Hmm.
take up a little space on this earth. So it's kind of
Mm,
like, if we can respect and not disrespect each other's space,
boy.
we're in a situation where we're able to see other point of views. We
Hmm.
can kind of, we're able to vibe and, you know come to the realization of, just because your view is different than mine doesn't mean you're wrong, or even that we can't, you know function together.
Exactly, man. And difference is actually good. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And different point of views is
All right.
even better.
Right.
But you have to respect people's point of view. You just can't shove all your view down somebody's throat. You know, you're gonna choke and
Absolutely.
gag them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be receptive to their full statement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because what they are trying to say, if you just hang tight for a second and get the point, you know, and you might be like, oh wow, check this out. I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Of
Exactly.
course not. Of course not.
Right.
Man, you want to elaborate or you want to move on, bro?
Yes, sir. Just really quickly, just
Okay.
that's a learning. It's a learning tool. It's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're able to, when you actually listen to someone and not
Yes.
just listen to attack, but listen to
Mhm.
actually learn,
Boy.
you'll actually find more often than not you actually learn something.
and we should learn something every day. We should.
Right. That's the goal.
But unfortunately it's just a couple of people out there, only two, that they kind of they don't do that. They just stay where they are and they're stuck chasing their tail forever.
Right.
I think I slightly undershot that by a large margin.
On
Okay.
purpose.
Yeah, man. So when you're listening to respond positively versus listening to respond negatively, man, it just takes the conversation so much further. It gets deeper. Like you said, you learn more about each other and you see that new perspective that you never really thought about before, which is gold. You know what I'm saying? It's worth
Right.
more than money. And that's the point we're
Absolutely.
stressing today. Our value beyond the value of money. And by the time we get through with this show today, I'm hoping everybody's value of money, which is probably way up here, shrinks way down here. And then our personal value and our thoughts goes way up. There it
Absolutely.
is, man. There it
Absolutely.
is. So the next one is kind of the same but extended a little bit. Hear and understand what is being said in its completion before we act or respond. Go, bro. What you got?
That's a perfect statement because you know, if you only get a portion or a part of a statement,
Uh-huh.
you're only getting a portion or a part of the message.
Boom. Boom.
So,
Bullseye.
you know,
3.
I mean, when you listen to the whole statement, now you have the whole spectrum, you have the whole scope
Mhm.
of what is actually trying to be conveyed. It's kind of like you're no longer trying to pay so much close attention to the messenger. You're actually getting the message.
Boy, man, look, man, I ain't got nothing for that. You on fire today, bro. You killing them. You killing them with that. It's all truth today, man. Wow, I'm really impressed with you so far, man. We're not even halfway through yet. We almost there, but
Likewise, brother.
we rolling,
Likewise.
man. Yeah, we rolling. This one we hear it a lot, but I don't think it sinks in. Or I don't think people process it in the
Man.
fullness that it should be taken. So this one here is treat everyone the way we want to be treated. What you got, bro?
Man, you know me, I have so many things that I like to reference. So I'm gonna do a couple. There's this thing called the golden rule.
Wow.
You
All
know,
right.
which is simply the statement in itself of, you know, if you treat everyone the way you want to be treated, you know, you'll find that the way that you're treated in return will have a certain value in itself.
Boy.
And of course, you know, it's kind of, you know, like, you know, the golden rule, the Bible refers to it as, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
You know, it goes a long way, man. If you literally say, I'm going to go ahead and treat everyone with kindness today, you know, 9.9 times out of 10, you know, kindness will be returned.
No kidding, man. No kidding. And I'm gonna use an example just yesterday, bro, that popped up as you were talking. This scenario could have went any way had I responded differently. I was in the post office, And you know the lines in the post office, they just get longer, and the people behind the counter, they don't move no faster. Uh, so
They
I'm
don't.
right. So I'm standing in line, bro. I'm like third in line, man, and it seems like forever. You know, like one of those movie scenes where nothing's moving, and there's sloths behind the counter. You know what I mean? And they just, you know what I mean, taking their time,
Taking
don't
the
even care
time.
about, yeah, don't even care about the line, and then having conversations about other stuff, and you just like, you know, you feel your tension rising. So I was like, you know, I could say something. I could go, you know, to the manager. I was like, I'm gonna just see what happens. I'm just gonna see what happens. So I waited, and then when I got up there, I thought it was gonna be a quick process. It wasn't. So I had to stand to the side while they you know got something figured out for me, and then they called me back, and then I had to stand to the side again. But finally, they got through with me. It was a lot more time I wanted to spend at the post office, right? I mean, nobody else can experience this, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of all that, the lady was like, "Well, I really appreciate you for being patient." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Well, thank you."
That's huge.
Yeah, yeah, it's very huge, man. That she acknowledged the fact that I was being patient because I could have been throwing a fit, you know, like somebody else that was up in there. I'm not gonna say who she was, and I'm not gonna say what she was.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious, man.
Oh man. So it ended up a couple days later, the money that I spent there, which I didn't want to do, I got it back. So because we don't realize the benefit of just being patient, you know what I'm saying? Uh, or
Wow.
just being in good character, because even though we're doing something we really don't want to do or don't think we should do, if we're in the right mindset or the positive mindset, hey, things can happen for us. You know what I'm saying? But if I was acting a fool, you know what I mean? Throwing a fit like somebody else that was in the building who didn't get all their packages, and I wonder why.
Man, a little kindness goes a long way, right?
Bang, man, you just dropping bulls ass today. Oh man, so treat everyone the way you want to be treated, and it don't matter who they are or what they are, man. I found benefits that swing my way like you wouldn't believe, man. Just because I'm treating everybody like I want to be treated, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's not just here, bro. And it's not just people that I know don't like me. You feel me?
Right.
It's people that I know don't like me, bro. But because I treat them the way I treat them, they can't,
It's
even though they
hard.
want to.
It's your right,
You
right.
know, it drives them crazy that they can't act the fool with me. You know what I'm saying? Because of how I present myself, how I word things, how my character is. You know what I'm saying? What you got, bro?
Wow, man. I got quite a bit actually, believe it or not.
Okay,
Because you kind of set me up as you always do.
absolutely.
Um, kindness has a tendency to actually destroy wrath.
Boy.
So a lot of times when people come in with a lot of aggression, I work in
Hmm.
the customer service industry.
Hmm.
A lot of times you're dealing with people who come in and they're angry just for your by your mere presence alone, it seems. And you're kind of able to, because you understand how to talk to people and how to speak with them, and you have a little
Hmm.
bit of patience.
Yep.
All of a sudden, when you leave, your response to you is more like, "I am so happy you came by today." I
Boy.
mean,
Boy.
it carries the weight. I have a quick example for you.
Okay.
As you know, I just started this new job that I made a mention of,
Uh huh.
and yesterday I was working. It was early evening, and uh, I actually knocked on his door. I'm a door knocker for people who don't know. It's turning out pretty well for me so far.
Sweet. Sweet. Sweet.
And I'm selling internet service or what have you. And
Hmm.
the person that I knocked on, man, she actually greeted me with a smile. So she was probably having a pretty decent day,
Uh huh.
but she wasn't necessarily interested in the product because she actually had the product in the past and switched to another service.
Mm-hmm.
So just by me, being kind to her, being
Mm-hmm.
patient with her,
Mm-hmm.
and letting her know what all her options were, and even
Mm-hmm.
setting expectations on what she would be able to expect in the future after the
Mm-hmm.
promotional rate has ended.
Mm-hmm.
She was just kind of like, you know what, it saves me so much money in the here and now. And I knew that that was going to be a big deal for her. She was
Yeah.
all about savings and reliability.
Mm-hmm.
So being in the here and now saves her so much money. And when it, rises in the future and maxes out, it's actually going to max out at what she's already paying.
Boy, so it would save her now, and she wouldn't really go beyond what she's doing already.
Exactly. So,
So
and I
yeah.
ended up at the very end thanking her
Mm-hmm.
for not only her patience, but for her
Mm-hmm.
kindness as a customer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times in my field, you're going to be greeted with some some interesting greetings. So
Absolutely, man.
she said it was really a pleasure because she
Mm-hmm.
said she didn't see people like me as often as they would like, and she's already trying to give me referrals, her daughter's on the
Man,
list. So
look.
I say all this, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know that when you're being kind and patient with others, it
Mm-hmm.
really is returned.
Boy, boom. And you can't see that before your act of kindness because it comes after. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So a lot of people, they want the after before
Before the
or without doing. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And that's not how it works. In most cases, you don't get something until you pay for it, right?
Right.
So we got to think about it like that, man. And that's why we are more valuable than money. You know what I'm saying?
Excellent point.
Because your kind act right there, even though you was doing your job, but it was the way you did it that brought you more potential money in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Now, if you'd have
Exactly.
went up there, knocked on the door, bang, bang, bang. Yeah, I got this stuff I'm trying to sell, dog. What you got? You want some of this? Yeah.
Exactly. When you're being pushy.
Boom, the door gonna close on you.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, man. You got
Absolutely.
you got to remove the hoodism out of your
Oh man,
presentation. You know
man,
what I'm
man.
saying?
And it's
Oh
good
man.
to be able to balance yourself in different atmospheres.
Right, for
But
real.
you definitely got to know when to turn things on and when to turn them off.
For sure, because there's a place for everything.
Right.
But there's a small place for negativity versus a large place for positivity. And
Absolutely. Great point.
yes, sir. And when it comes to us being valued compared to money, that's a huge diss, bro. Because
Absolutely.
we are so much more valuable than money ever was. But the way things in society try to twist that around, it's so unfair and it's so unjustified. And to me, it's really so wrong, bro. Um, Now, you mentioned anger in your previous statements, and that's our next one, bro. Uh, People just need to stop being so angry, bro.
Yes.
I mean, you got people out there giving themselves strokes and heart attacks because they're just so bitter, so tight, so angry. So I'm gonna say this statement, and I'm sure nobody's ever heard this before. Maybe a couple people, because I've heard this before, dude, and I just laugh, and I'm just passing people as they talk. So this is what I hear on a regular basis. You wouldn't believe how much I hear this, but this is why I'm saying it today. And I know I'm gonna crack some people up today. I hate you. Why? I don't know. I just do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Yeah, you definitely hear that a lot more than you absolutely should.
Oh
Oh
man.
man, it's one of those.
Oh.
I know this is our one of our segments, but it's almost one of those I've seen and heard it all type of scenarios.
Boy, what
Because
you
you
got,
have,
bro?
yeah, man, it's like you have anger to someone and you don't even understand why you have anger. You just have anger. Like
Boy.
you need to, and I'll say it this way. People, we are always trying to handle and fix things ourselves. And, sometimes there may be situations that may have been a little traumatizing for you that are, harder to recover from than others. And there is no problem with seeking professional help.
Boy.
I mean, sometimes, we need that, in our community, in the Black community, we need that a lot, because a lot of times, we're just taught to just take it on the chin and keep it pushing.
Boy.
And all this time we're walking around with all this trauma, and we don't understand why we're up there hurting other people, because we're hurt people.
Boy, there it is. Man, you just bullseye. Man, you got a lot of bullseyes. You got a bag full of bullseyes today.
I appreciate you.
Oh, man, that's awesome, man. So speaking of I didn't see it and heard them all,
I knew it was coming.
we go shift gears right now and go into one of our segments, which what we call I didn't see it and I didn't heard it all. This one today, bro, it's a little different. But when I saw this and the more I thought about it, I was like, man, come on. Are you serious? So here we go. An Oklahoma judge who sent more than 500 texts during a murder trial resigns. Yeah, man. Let me get into this. This is crazy, bro. We're talking about a judge on the podium of a murder trial, right? So Oklahoma judge agreed to step down after she was caught sending hundreds of texts from the bench while overseeing a murder trial in the killing of a 2-year-old boy, which to me is quite an important trial. You know what I'm saying? And the messages included like mocking the prosecutors and crazy emojis. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
wow.
She was not even focused on that trial like she should have been, right? So, man, I mean, I could read more into this, man, but I don't think I have to. I think it's really ridiculous, man. What you got, bro?
Shaking my head. I mean, it's kind of like, in a situation that deserves every undivided attention, especially as a professional.
Absolutely.
And you're trying to, hand out or carry out justice. I mean, you have to remain focused on the task at hand.
Man, because, for sure.
I mean, that's a serious issue,
Yeah.
Somebody's kid is gone. And
and who's ever on trial, their life is at stake.
Right.
Whatever your decision is how their life.
A lot of things and a lot of people forever.
Absolutely. and I didn't go on further, but that particular judge had issues in other areas as well. So that particular person should not have ever been a judge as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And in the plea agreement, when that judge was removed or resigned, whatever, they can no longer practice legalities ever in that state. You know what I'm saying? And it shouldn't be allowed to, function in that manner in any other state as far as I'm concerned. They're in the wrong line of business.
Line of work. Yeah, for sure.
They need to be a journalist or something like that.
Or a blogger.
Man, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't see it. And I didn't heard it all.
Man.
This stuff, man, it's just crazy, bro. So we're going to jump back into our main topic of the day and move out of that segment because that was just crazy, man. And what we're talking about is we are worth more than money, but our thoughts, our actions, and what we say has no value. And me and Poetics today, we're balancing the scale because people are definitely worth more than money. And what we're going to highlight next is what people should stop doing.
Absolutely.
So we already talked about stop being so angry because it just goes nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's more internal damage you're doing than you are in anything else. So our next one is stop being manipulated and stop being the manipulator. What you got, bro?
Man, when you presented this one to me, I just kind of laughed on the inside because I just knew we were both going to probably definitely incredibly elaborate on this topic.
Boy, we about to
So,
bust a mudslide on everybody.
man, like, okay, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So, um, manipulation, okay?
It's
you
coming.
you have
It's
to
coming.
learn how to do things with pure intent, with
Mhm,
a pure heart, from an
mhm.
authentic place.
Boy.
If you can learn to do that, and I don't think it's a really difficult thing. I mean, I understand that some of us have been programmed, so
Mhm,
we have
mhm.
to deprogram ourselves and then reprogram ourselves to think correctly and
Boy,
rationally.
boy.
But you really have to do things, you know, from an authentic place, because we do live in a day and time where everyone's skeptic of everyone. And, you know, like
Oh.
everything and everybody, it's always skepticism surrounding it. Like people
Mhm.
would believe, oh, this is just too good to be true. This person can't be this nice.
Right,
Or,
right.
you know what I mean? And
Mhm,
so it's kind of like one of those things where no, people are actually not as corrupt as we would like to think they are.
mhm, mhm.
And that while people, you know, while there is corruption, obviously, you know, there is still a lot of good, you know, left in this
Boy,
world. So you
a
have
lot.
to, how about we give each other a chance
There it is.
and stop trying to manipulate people,
Boy,
and
boy.
we'll, you know, the whole world would actually be a lot better for it, for sure.
So now that your statement was so great, I'm just going to move on to the examples of how
Gotcha.
people can either be manipulated or they can either be the manipulator.
Sure. Right. Hmm.
We're going to
Absolutely.
start with relationships and being vengeful. Ah.
Man,
I think I just stepped on some toes.
bro, bro.
Man, this can come from any direction, man, but I know I'm gonna have to pay for this later, but I'm gonna highlight the vengeance of the female in a relationship. Ugh.
Ooh wee. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, sir.
I think there's no vengeance that stacks up as high or goes as long or as far as the vengeance of a female in a relationship, bro. Uh,
Absolutely.
there's so much affected behind that, and I want to go here before I give you a chance to respond.
Oh no, take your time.
Women are naturally tender, genuine,
Beautiful, man.
soft, beautiful, luxurious. How I mean, all those nice things
Right?
that's wrapped up in a woman. You know what I'm saying? That all
Absolutely.
those beautiful, spectacular things of life are they're in the presence of a woman. You know what I'm saying? And then when a woman gets scorned or she's got some baggage, that flips, man. It's like a switch. And if she's negative or she's vengeful, that goes on forever too. You know what I'm saying? So women have to really be careful, man, because they are they were designed to be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? They were designed to be spectacular. And when they have the wrong ideas or wrong state of mind or the wrong type of vengefulness, man,
Man, bro,
what you got, bro?
you hit some bullseyes of your own in that statement, just to let you know. Uh
Okay.
Actually, you mentioned a word in that statement that you made, and I'm actually gonna make my whole statement off of this word.
Okay.
You used the word scorn.
Mm,
So, you
mm,
know, hell hath no fury, of course, like a woman
mm,
scorned.
mhm.
I think what I'm gonna do though is I'm gonna follow it up with this, or
Okay.
even a woman who thinks she's been scorned.
Mhm, mhm,
So a lot of times, you know, you're in a situation where maybe two people, man and woman, disagree.
mhm.
And, you know, a lot of times, you know, beautiful woman, man.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to take things the way they take them.
Mhm.
And no matter what, you're the villain. You know, they've been scorned in their
Right,
eyes
right,
no
right,
matter
right.
what. And
Mhm.
it's kind of like, you know, you haven't necessarily been scorned, but again, it goes back into one of our previous segments earlier. If you let us actually not only complete the statement that we're trying to make,
Mhm.
you'll understand the message that we were actually trying to make as well.
Boy.
So you know, you'll come to a place where, like, once you're actually listening and you're not
Mhm.
listening to respond negatively, you're like,
Mhm.
oh wow, that's what they were trying to say all this time, and wow, I hadn't thought of that before, to your
Boy.
point
Boy.
earlier. So
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. But on the flip side, because
uh-huh,
I don't want the women to feel like I'm just jumping on them, because I'm not.
absolutely,
Men can do it too.
absolutely,
You know what I'm saying? Guys can get to a place in life where they just got this arrogance about themselves.
absolutely,
They want to just down the opposite. You know what I'm saying? They want to just instruct and give orders, and expect something spectacular in return.
absolutely,
You know what I'm saying? That's really not how that works. What you're gonna do is you're gonna build up an emotional response that's gonna catch you later. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And depending on how much it builds up, it's gonna be how much you're gonna have to deal with later. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So
Great points.
yeah, man. So uh, yeah, man, relationships, you just gotta be not the manipulator. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be manipulated, but you just have to work together, man. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
It's like yin and yang, man. One's pushing, one's pulling, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You're working towards something. You're walking forward together. You know what I'm saying? You're not pushing and pulling. You know what I'm saying? It's not tug of war. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna piggyback off you just a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Our us as men, because we said what we said about women, so I want to do the same thing.
Absolutely,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we do have this thing called ego and testosterone,
Mm, mm,
and sometimes it can actually become our greatest enemy in a certain
boy,
situation.
boy.
And we definitely have to learn, we have to, give women a break in that regard, because you know like you said, our arrogance can, get the best of us sometimes. We're thinking,
Absolutely.
okay, we've made it a certain point in life, we're making a certain figure with money,
Hmm. Hmm.
fiscal worth, and it's just kind of like, oh, nobody can tell me anything, and
Mm,
I'm the big bad man, blah blah blah. And
right.
it's kind of like, at the end of the day, you still have to be human, you know.
Bullseye. Bullseye.
So
Bullseye. Boy. So let's move on to the next example of manipulation. This is
I know where this is.
probably
I know where this is going.
probably one of my favorite, even though I despise it to the top of the mountaintop.
I know where this is going.
Examples of manipulation or being a manipulator can also come from the church. Uh, Man, I got so many examples,
Man,
bro.
man.
But I'm gonna use what I call
Uh-huh.
the Cadillac. Uh,
Ooh.
the Cadillac. What is it? What I call that? The Cadillac. I'll just call it the Cadillac.
Uh-huh.
The
Uh-huh.
Cadillac situation.
Gotcha.
Okay, so in the churches that some of the churches that I'm aware of, um, the person who's considered the leader, the pastor, whatever, whatever title you want to choose, has what I call the Cadillac mentality. In other words, they're doing what they're doing not to look out for the people, but for their self to reach a certain status. I mean, I've heard some ridiculous stuff, man. I've heard of preachers asking their church to buy them planes. You know what I'm saying? I've heard of preachers asking them, their congregation to send them on these elaborate trips and whatnot. Let's see, we got a thing here. Some men and women like that toxic relationship and do it on purpose. Ah!
That's tough, isn't it? That's
Yannick,
tough.
you better go, Yannick. Well, I can say a lot about that.
Oh
Ooh.
man. Oh man.
Oh, they like that toxic stuff. That's a strong point.
It
Some
is.
people like that aggressive type of atmosphere to where they just barking at each other and when they make up, it's intense.
It's
You know
intense.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, okay, I see where you're at, Yannick. Woo,
Man.
We gonna move on.
Uh-huh.
So as I was saying, man, so these preachers have this Cadillac mentality. Then they think that their congregation is responsible for setting them up for the life that they believe is suitable for them.
Right.
And keep in mind, they're taking these people's money for the messages that they're providing. They're supposed to be good for these people.
Right.
I don't like that, bro, because they may be acquiring these Cadillacs and these planes and these elaborate trips and whatnot in this beautiful lifestyle for themselves, while their members of their congregation are struggling.
Exactly.
They're trying to make money for food, expenses, utilities, clothes, you name it, bro. They're struggling. Some of them don't even have transportation to get back and forth to your location.
Church.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They got to ride a bus and get a ride with somebody. They got to commute. You know what I'm saying? So this is the way I see it. And I'm speaking to all those type of people like that. Straight to your face, dog. Just like that, dog. That's when you get that attitude. That's when you're supposed to have this attitude, right?
Right.
When it's relevant.
Right.
So check this. Every single one of you to hear me right now and later. For those of you that want that plane, for those of you that want that Cadillac, for those of you who want that elaborate trip or whatnot from your congregation, you make sure that everyone in your congregation has those things first before you get yours. What you got, bro?
I love that, bro. Talk about a bullseye. That was definitely a bullseye moment, dog. That was great, man. It's really almost hard to follow it up. So I'm gonna go here. Always, and not in all situations, obviously. But there are definitely situations, some that evolution just pointed out, where a lot of these preachers are using the pulpit for a hustle. It's all about, how can they benefit? How can they come up? How can they move on up like the Jeffersons, if you will? And instead of being authentic and saying, hey, if I can literally bring about an effective change for the better in these people's lives, their lives, they don't realize that their lives will automatically be enriched.
Man,
know.
Because you're in a business and a practice that looks out for people, at least it's supposed to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And really, and all you're doing is saying that you could pray for somebody, or you can, preach this sermon on something that you think is important for them. Come on, man. And then you raising 3 and 4 offerings.
Yes.
Come on, man. I know there's some good people out there.
Absolutely.
And it's probably a small percentage of people that I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, bro, our value is a lot more than money. You know what I'm saying? So, and a plane is not cheap, bro. A Cadillac is not cheap, bro. And an elaborate trip is not cheap, bro. But unless you're taking that elaborate trip with your whole congregation, you need to check yourself.
Absolutely. Be authentic.
Boom. Bullseye. Let's roll, man. So the next one is business, man. So I'm shaking my head on this one because I know for a fact that in business, there's a tendency that we can get ripped off. But I've noticed in our community and in other communities when there's business conducted by our own that we're trying to support,
Mm.
that they're stinging us a lot harder than they're stinging everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I went to a Mexican party, man, and it was lit. I ain't gonna lie, it was lit. They was turned up, but they was charging them. Oh my goodness, bro! They was charging them for tables. They was charging them for seats at the tables. The beer was spiked way up in the price, and I'm like, you paid to get inside. You know what I'm saying, dude? They
Right.
was just sucking. They had a huge money vacuum. They were just sucking money every and they was just throwing it out, man. And I get it. You know, that's the idea of business. You want to have a profitable business, but dude, I'm like thinking this would never happen in my community.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
I the way I was looking at it, man, they just, I mean, if they want to pay that, okay, it's cool, I guess. But I'm just thinking, like, dude, how much could they be doing with this money if they used it more effectively? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You go into a
Right.
function and you spending anywhere from $250 to $1,000 every time you go, dude. Think of the capital you will have. I'm gonna leave it at that, bro. What you got?
Man, it's funny. I was gonna actually go a different route, but because of
Uh-huh.
the route you went, man, you kind of sparked something.
Okay.
Recently it was revealed that, and you know how I love my hip hop,
Hmm.
and you know how I love a certain MC in hip hop.
Yeah, yeah. Nice.
Uh-huh. So I recently discovered that he's in the hunt for, I think they're only going to select like 3, but
Hmm.
there's a casino bid in New York, you know, where they're trying to get this casino built. And it was funny because a lot of people had a real negative response, like, this is not what the community needs. And,
Hmm.
you know, how many people are you going to disenfranchise because people are gambling their whole checks or just whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, if you're going to look at it through those negative lens,
Hmm.
sure, it could lead to that. Or it could lead to maybe thousands and thousands of jobs that keep people employed.
Right,
So,
right.
you know, I was just kind of thinking on the lines of, when you're looking at business, a lot of times, you know, people don't understand when you have a wealthy giant in the room or in the
Hmm.
building, they're
Hmm.
looking at, oh, this person is so wealthy, and people kind of envy that in a way of sorts, but they don't
Hmm.
understand how much that wealthy giant is doing to give back to those around them, to their community they came from.
Hmm.
You know, how can I help employ, you know, a lot of people? How can I help, stimulate this economy in the neighborhood
Hmm.
that I grew up in? You
Right, right.
know, looking at, you know, these little small things, and I'm like, to your point, man, you know, business it's an interesting dynamic,
Hmm.
because you're trying to balance the scales of, you know, not being a manipulator also while not being manipulated.
Right,
So
right, 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 right.
I love the, you know, this topic here, and the fact that we can kind of, you know, highlight certain things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And man, we moving right along, bro. But another way that people can manipulate or be manipulated um,
Mm,
is in the family, man. Between parents, siblings, children. Um,
wow.
you know, we kind of touched on it before, but I'm gonna stay on parents right now. Parents have a huge responsibility, bro. And and I will say this: some people really don't need to be parents. You
Absolutely.
know, honestly, bro, because some of the stuff that I've seen and heard, oh my goodness.
Hmm.
I'm not going to talk about that, but I will say a parent can be very manipulative when it comes to how they raise or instruct their children, uh, as well as siblings. And some children, man. So I've seen some children that are way out of control, bro.
Right.
And I've seen the things that they said and how they were interacting with their parents in the public. I'm like, I wish they would.
Right. Right.
You know, what you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I think. Man, family, that word. It's a really beautiful thing when we have our families and we can always look to them. But of
Mhm.
course, there are some times in certain situations where your family kind of looks at you as a money pit.
Mm,
They
mm.
might look at you like, oh, such and such got the money. Let's have them do it. And, in a lot of cases, you might not mind, but it's just kind of like, can we all pull our resources together and, make things happen for one another as opposed to you trying to place the world's, the world's issues on one person's shoulders, you know?
I'll say this, bro, and this kind of really leads back to our topic. A lot of people have the wrong view of how money is valued. To
Right.
some people, money is everything, so they don't have any money. And then to
Wow.
some people, money is a tool, so they got money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
and and some people have the ability to respect money for what it is, and they can make it grow.
Right.
So there you have it, man.
Excellent points.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm gonna go here, and then we're gonna get into our Black History question because our time is flowing, man. I think I'm just gonna skip on some of this stuff, or if you're all right with that.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, okay. So if you want a $10,000 Rolex, I'll say it like that. Uh, you shouldn't do stupid stuff like go steal a $10,000 Rolex
Hmm.
from somebody who worked hard and paid for it. Uh, if that's what you truly want, we have a way of getting the things that we really truly want. I don't think anybody out there, when they really truly want something, they go for it and they get it. If it's a pair of sneakers, if it's a Rolex, if it's a house, if it's a car, if we really focus on that, that's that word that I told you we was gonna hit later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, our focus is worth more than money because our focus is what brings us money and things of value. That's why we are more important than money because it's what we do up here and how we act and how we speak and how we conduct ourselves uh, that brings those fortunes our way. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. People put so much of an emphasis on money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How much money do you have? I mean, let's look at. I'll just use an example of look at the dating scene.
Mm.
And a lot of times, men and women date sometimes for different reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times, one person will literally try to date someone just because they look like the highest bidder, the most the most eligible candidate that'll be fitting to support them in their lifestyle that they choose or wish to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, again, it kind of plays into the manipulation factor a bit, but it's
Boy.
kind of like if you just kind of understand that valuing money is one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to value people. If you can really value people,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'll go so much further and you'll understand that God works in a way that sometimes we don't always easily comprehend.
Mm.
So when
Mm.
you put your heart in the right place, once again, be authentic, God is going to send you everything you've ever desired. You just have to be patient and again, be authentic, you know?
Boy, boy. So, man, I was gonna skip this, but since you went there, I'm gonna go ahead and take it.
Okay.
Uh, money is not the influence; we are.
We are. Uh-huh.
Uh, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say it again: money is not the influence; we are. So our value is way far than money because we are creators, we are leaders, and we are at our best when we work together and focus. You know what I'm saying? So I got some examples that I want to highlight before we get into our Black History question.
Sure.
These are, you'll see, you'll see.
Okay.
First example of creators, um, Marie Van Britten Brown, who was a nurse in the I believe it was the 1960s. Uh, she, along with her husband,
Hmm.
Albert Brown, who was an electronics technician. Now, she was a nurse, he was an electronics technician. But check this out. Together, they worked together and invented a video home security system. Ain't that huge?
Wow.
What does just about everybody have in their house right now?
A ring doorbell.
Boom. And where did it come from? The invention of a husband and wife in 1966. Check this out. 1966. A lot was going on then, but a lot was
Wow.
not being invented, and a lot of people weren't working together. Am I right?
Absolutely.
This is my point.
Man.
This is my point. Yeah, I got some more for you, bro. This is my point. They applied for a patent, and 3 years later, it was granted in 1969, bro.
69. Wow.
What you got, bro?
Man. Man, bro, you dropped a gem on us.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to pick that on up.
Okay.
And you know, the beauty of what you stated, and I just hope our audience is, I hope everybody's getting what he just did.
hmm
Evolution just made a great point. It's all about what you can achieve together.
hmm
It's one thing to be focused individually and to get something and earn it, and it does feel gratifying for sure. But
hmm
it's another thing when there's another party involved, a spouse, a friend, a companion, a family member, whoever.
Yeah.
When you're working together with someone to achieve a common goal, you will find out that you can achieve far more than you ever thought was even possible.
Boy, and just think if you were working as a group or a society,
Or a human
community.
race.
Boom, there it is. There it is. You with me, man. You with me. All right. So we got how effective we can be as creators when we work together and focus. So this next one has to do with let me see here. I want to say leadership.
Sure.
Yeah, leadership. So this next person, check this out. Frederick Douglass, and I got a plug, who was born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I referenced that because yours truly, Evolution's last name is Bailey.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
spelled the exact same way. So I'm going to do some history search and see what's really going on with SB and possibly Frederick Douglass. All right. So
Wow.
this dude taught himself how to read and write. He also escaped slavery. Two massive accomplishments, right?
Right.
This is what he became. Okay. Think about where he came from. He couldn't read and write. He taught himself, and he was a slave, so he escaped. He became a social reformer who worked to improve the government and society, an abolitionist who worked to end slavery, an orator, public speaker, and writer in which he wrote his own autobiography. Is that dangerous? Is that dangerous?
Wow.
Is that fantastic? Is that phenomenal?
Wow. That's
Come on,
incredible, man.
Hold on.
Wow.
Hold on. There's more. He was also considered a statesman. And for those who don't know what that is, it's a skilled person. It's an experienced person. It's a well-respected person. It's a leader. And I think everybody knows who Frederick Douglass is, right?
Absolutely.
This dude was in the 1800s, bro.
Right.
Come on, man. What you got?
Again, man, it goes to show you, man, because a lot of times people don't realize there's so much to the history of mankind, but to the history of, Black people in general. They don't understand that there were affluent Black individuals even during slave times, even before slave times, They just kind of think, the Jay-Z's and Beyoncé's of the world today, they look at them and like, yeah, wow, these are amazing people. But it's like, I think the beauty of it is that we were always amazing.
Oh,
We were
bullseye,
always
man. I
amazing.
done lost count. That was another bullseye. Man, you see my point then, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
I love that.
So I'm gonna hit you with something that's recent. Both of those are in the past.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna hit you with something that's recent, man. And there's a reason for this because this adds to our value. Y'all might not know who this is, but I'm gonna explain who it is. Nicholas Johnson. Doesn't sound familiar, right?
No.
23-year-old, Princeton's first Black valedictorian.
Wow.
All
Okay.
right? Okay, so let me highlight Princeton for a minute because this is very relevant. Princeton's first 9 presidents were slave owners. First 9 presidents were slave owners.
Okay.
As were many of his professors. So can you imagine the focus that Nicholas Johnson had to have as a 23-year-old in a college that was based like that, and with the reputation of this college? You know what I'm saying? It ain't no joke. Princeton ain't no joke for anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But to become the first Black valedictorian, come on, man. What you got?
Wow.
Let's focus out this world, man.
Man, I kind of think, when you think of a place like a Princeton, you're thinking of a Harvard or a West Point or a Stanford or Yale, right? And it kind of, these are the colleges that, the most prestigious, office in the country, president of the United States. These are the colleges that they often attend.
Mm-hmm.
So to know that we have a Black valedictorian to come from one of these institutions, that's just more history being made, man.
Absolutely. I mean, what does that do to the value, bro? Shoots it way up to the stars.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When we apply ourselves and focus, there's literally nothing we can't accomplish, bro. And that's the point that I'm making today.
Absolutely.
We devalue ourselves so much and so regularly that the potential of us, our family, our society, our country, it's tanking, bro.
Man.
It is tanking to the level that you have to decide between a Biden or a Trump. Come on, man. I said it. Yes, I said it. Come on, man.
We always put that, like I said, that overemphasis on money. Our true value is in each other. It's in ourselves.
Yeah, man.
And
I know that there's goodness in everybody, even Biden and Trump. But I just personally believe that America shoots itself in the foot so many times because of how they value money over people. You know what I'm saying? The decisions that they make, if they value people over money, could you imagine the turnaround this country would have?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, what kind of turnaround the world would have?
Yes.
To value people over money, man. That would be
absolutely, man.
Such a sight,
Oh. Heaven on earth, maybe. Heaven on earth, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you got anything else? Or we gonna roll, man?
We can roll, dog. I think we're doing it.
All right, here it comes. You was looking for it, but here it comes.
Woo.
Our Black history question for the day.
Man.
Woo. Now this is a big long question, man.
Yes.
So give me a second, and you gotta hear the whole thing out. All right, so you can fully understand what I'm trying to do here. Here we go. Poetics. You are the king of a very prosperous land and community before the mass interruption of slavery. You now know and have vivid knowledge of how things went and how things occurred with the decisions of the past. Without altering our progress and without the total devastation of our land, our people. And so I say all that to ask this. What is your action plan to preserve our dignity, our unity, our wealth, our land, and our resources?
Great question. For me, man, I hope I do good on this one. I think what I would do, okay,
Mhm.
is I would have a team of wise men. Um,
Mm.
and what I would do is, a lot of times people would think, okay, now that you know what took place, you would probably kill those people, right? Absolutely
Mm.
not. What I would do, I would have my team of wise people get a hold of those people that
Mhm.
are, trying to start this institution, as we know as the transatlantic slave trade.
Mhm.
And we would actually do something that I actually spoke of earlier in this podcast. We would completely deprogram them.
Mm.
We would reprogram them
Mm.
so that now the whole race of human society can grow together.
Man, that's beautiful, bro. You got more? Is that it?
That's it. That's it.
I have to say this, bro. Great
Uh-huh.
minds think alike. Great minds think alike,
Okay.
because that is so close to my response, man.
Wow.
So close. So here's my response. Keeping in mind that these are people with an undying and furious hate, you know, these individuals, you got to understand their desire to overtake and overthrow and destroy and manipulate everything that they come in contact with.
Right.
So my first thought was kind of like you, do the same to them that was done to us. But I have a heart. I have compassion.
There
You know what
we
I'm saying?
go.
I'm not like that. Second thought was, imprison them, but then, that goes a little different. It's kind of us becoming them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And then I thought about turning them away, but then now we're vulnerable because they know where we are. They can come back. You know what I'm saying? Things can
Right.
occur. So, like you, bro, since we know how things happen, I'm like you. We design a plan to stay ahead of them. We organize our leadership. We protect our people who are of value to us so that they're untouchable. Like the elderly, the children, the people who have the minds, the creativity and all that whatnot, the special people within the special people. Um,
Wow.
then we will establish our own government and allow them to establish their own government and allow, I guess, people from all other countries to establish their government. And there's no one person in charge. There are all of us who have equal, I guess, litigation amongst
Okay.
ourselves, to where we are equal. We represent us the best. We're going to represent us the best we're going to represent anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the point. They're going to represent themselves the best for themselves. We're going to represent ourselves the best for us, and so on and so forth.
Right.
So as these groups and individuals represent for ourselves and treat ourselves the best we can possibly be, look out for us the best we possibly can, then we have our elite groups who meets with their elite groups and be like, look, this is a good idea. However, it doesn't support what we live for. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to meet in the middle. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, and then we stay in front of all those things that occurred through time that we know about to keep those from happening. You know what I'm saying? So that's, go ahead, bro.
Not to cut you off, bro. It kind of sounds like you actually have a plan that would actually, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but you actually have a plan that would actually allow us to actually see in real time, in actual
Mhm.
reality,
Mhm.
the real true workings of a democracy.
Man, that is the biggest bullseye ever. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope everybody else got it. Boy, I think my phone is going to be blowing up. Congress might be calling me. No, man. Hey man, that's the wrap. I don't think we can do anything after that. What you got, bro? You got anything after that?
Man, it's kind of funny because I do have one just quick note, and
Okay.
it's more of a nugget kind of
Uh-huh.
thing for
Okay.
as we wrap this thing up.
Mhm.
But I'm reminded of, I love my music,
Uh-huh.
so I'm gonna go with the underground legendary hip hop group. People check them out when you get a chance. They go by the name Dead Prez,
Hmm.
and there's a lyric that states, "You can't fool all the people all the time, but if
Hmm.
you fool the right ones, then the rest will fall behind." So,
Boy, boy.
yeah, if we can just kind of understand that we are so valuable as a people, as a species,
Hmm.
and stop putting all our value on in measuring people by how much money they possess or don't.
Hmm.
Yeah. We'll, no one will be fooled and we'll all be enlightened.
Man, that's like bullseye number 5,000. I don't lost count, man. Man, you just spitting bullseyes today, man. That's incredible, man. I hope everybody got something good out of this today. Because me and my man Poetics, we really go hard with these bullet points that we come up with, and we just trying to make things better. We're trying to make people open their eyes and realize that, hey, y'all are incredible, man. If y'all apply the goodness that was given to you at birth to everyday life,
Man.
man, you know what I'm saying? The results would be incredible, man. I mean, you got think about it, bro. Think about it. We are developers of life. We have children. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That is the most
Beautiful gift,
beautiful,
right?
man. I mean, if you think about how precious that is, you know what I'm saying? To create a life. You know what I mean? You can't put money on that, even though they charge us out the yin yang when we do have a child in the hospital. Dirty
Man.
rascals, Pampers. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? just trying to get money every chance they get. But you know what I'm saying? But we have to really fully understand and be grateful and focus on the fact that we are so much more valuable than anything that's on this planet, because that's just how it is. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I think we both said it, man. I think this is perfect.
All right, man. So that's what's going on, man. Know your value, know your true worth, and live life in that manner. That's all I got, bro.
Thank you everybody for tuning in, and for those who have yet to tune in, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Hey, before we go, sponsorship, JG's Lounge, Golden Diamond Productions, TGBTG, and Vibe. VYV comes a little vibe. You shake it, you sniff it, and it get your thought process going for a more creative day, I guess. Uh, Lucian 15 is the code. If you want to support that, support the show, go to the website, get you a discount, and help us out a little bit. All right. That's all I got, bro. Y'all take care. Know your worth. Know your value. Raise that bar. All right. Peace. Take care.
Peace.